I was driving home late one rainy night, the kind of night where the road seemed endless, slick with water, the world swallowed by mist. The wipers struggled against the downpour, and the radio gave nothing but static. That was when I saw her, standing by the side of the highway, drenched, her torn wedding dress clinging to her pale frame. She raised a hand slowly, asking for a ride. Every instinct told me to keep driving, but something in her eyes made me stop. They weren't wild or dangerous. They were pleading. I pulled over, rolled the window down, and she leaned toward me, rain dripping from her veil. Her voice was soft, almost too soft for the storm. "Can you take me home?" She slid into the passenger seat without waiting for an answer. The smell of wet roses filled the car, sharp and cloying, though I hadn't seen her carrying flowers. She gave me an address just outside of town, speaking in a whisper, as though afraid the storm might overhear. I nodded and drove, glancing at her when I thought she wouldn't notice. She stared straight ahead, hands folded neatly in her lap, water dripping steadily onto the seat. We drove in silence for miles, and the deeper we went, the stranger it felt. The storm outside seemed to fade, the radio static softening into a faint melody, like distant wedding music. When I finally pulled onto the road she'd told me, she turned to me for the first time. Her lips trembled into the faintest smile. "Thank you," she whispered. "He left me at the altar, but I'll find him. I always do." Before I could respond, before I could even process her words, I looked back at the seat, and she was gone. No sound, no movement, just an empty, rain-soaked indentation where she had been. The smell of roses lingered, heavy and choking. I panicked, pulling up to the house she'd mentioned, an old Victorian sitting dark and silent at the end of the road. An elderly woman answered when I knocked, her face tightening when I stammered out what had happened. She listened in silence, then shook her head slowly. "You're not the first. My daughter. She died 30 years ago, left at the altar. She tries to come home every Valentine's night, but she never makes it." I looked back at my car, at the wet stain on the passenger seat, the faint petals of roses scattered across the floor. My chest tightened as the storm began again, rain pounding the roof. Somewhere in the distance, I thought I heard her laughter, sharp and broken, carried on the wind. I don't drive that road anymore, but others do. And sometimes, on rainy nights, they see her too, the bride in white, standing in the storm, still searching for the man who left her. Some say she climbs into their cars. Others say she appears in the rearview mirror, her veil dripping red instead of rain. They say she won't rest until she finds the groom who abandoned her, or someone willing to take his place. And if you ever see her on the roadside, don't stop. Because once she chooses you, the roses always follow. They show up on your seat, in your house, even on your pillow when you wake. And when the last petal falls, that's when she comes for you. Still smiling, still waiting, still a bride, forever.